Alrighty, guys, gals, and other pals, how's everyone doing? It's been a rocky ride for Worlds so far. The Swiss stage just finished up, I believe, this morning, if I'm not mistaken. I'm recording this on the 25th of October, and in the afternoon, but obviously, North American time, so a little bit different. But anyways, yeah. Knockout stage is up next. We can go ahead and review kind of some of the stuff that happened in Swiss though, real fast. Sorry, I was hoping to get some more videos out, but I've just been super busy as usual. So I'm just gonna try to do a quick one here and try our best here. But yeah, I was wrong with saying Gen.G was gonna go 3-0. Um, I guess I should have foreseen that probably if they drop like a game or whatever. But yeah, anyways, they ended up going through 3-1, which makes sense. KT, I probably could have predicted they would 3-0, but I feel like that's pretty. I don't know. It seemed pretty unlikely that that was going to happen. So I don't know if I would have been able to predict that. But KT did go 3-0 actually. So if I had swapped these twos, I would have been golden. But I did get at least 10 points for them making it through, right? So yeah, and then T1 going 3-2. I mean, maybe they could have gone through 3-1, but yeah, I was pretty confident they'd go 3-2, which they did. So I got that one right at least. And then I got TES, HLE, and AL. BLG barely didn't make it, losing to TES, which is kind of crazy, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a pretty, I would say, sizable upset there, overall. So BLG doesn't make it through, and Fly. So I don't know. Flying Horses is really good, and I am happy that they got through, but at the same time, I much rather would have. I'm biased. I'm North America, right? I would have much rather Fly made it through, and I do think Fly could have made it through, even though they were playing pretty rough. They definitely could have, but in my opinion, and I've seen a couple other people share my opinion as well. I want to say like LS. I saw like his one of his video titles like just from today was like the worst drafts of the tournament or something like that. But yeah, in my opinion, the drafts from FlyQuest, the last several series actually that they've played have been really rough. Especially this last the one against Flying Oysters. Those drafts were really bad in my opinion. But anyways, unfortunately they don't make it through, which sucks. But at least we got what, 6 out of 8 correct of people going through, which I mean I could have predicted some of the other ones, but yeah. Either way, we get a total of 75 out of 125 points. Not great at all, honestly, but I'm in the top 28% at least, so that is fun. Oh my goodness, it was. I didn't realize that my what do you call it? My freaking mouse is not being recorded. What is going on with that? Sorry, guys. One moment. See if I can fix that real quick. I'm not sure. Since when does my mouse not get recorded? What the heck? All right. Well, anyways, I don't know. I guess I'll just have to rock with it. But anyways, I'm moving my mouse all over. But yeah, so we got the knockouts up next. So what do we have? We've got AL versus T1 is first up, which is going to be interesting. I honestly don't know because from what I've heard and kind of seen, but not really, I haven't really watched too much of AL, unfortunately, and I guess the same thing for T1. But the thing is, you just can't bet against T1. That's what I've learned. Although I will say, I think, and I mean they do this every year though, right? They come in like last place and look a little shaky maybe, or either they come in last place and they look really strong, or but this world they are looking very shaky, like they barely got through. But they did get through, so I don't know. It's really hard because I hear people saying that AL is really strong, but I don't know. It's hard to bet against T1 for me. I think I might just say T1, but I really want to say AL goes through. But yeah, I don't think so. But at the same time, it's T1 versus what's it called? T1 versus China. So like they don't lose those. So I don't know. It's hard to say honestly. G2 versus TES. Also have no idea because G2 is looking a little better, but at the same time they're really not. I don't know if they're looking that good though. They did beat BLG, but BLG didn't even make it through. So think BLG is just looking rough. So it's really hard to guess. Also, FlyQuest is looking rough. So, but they beat FlyQuest. So, I don't know. It's hard to say for me. I think TES is probably gonna make it. But G2 could take TES out. I just don't know. I'm not sure. But of these two, I would also say T1 makes it through, which I think TES is a Chinese team, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think it's TES and AL are the Chinese teams. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, obviously, you know, T1 versus Chinese team. Also TES, I don't think is looking super great, which makes T1 go to finals, which is crazy again. Although I don't think they're gonna win finals though. If I do, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe they will. Gen.G versus HLE, I again have no idea. I want to say Gen.G because they're just really good and they have really strong players. But I mean, Hanwa have looked decent throughout the year here and there. I really don't know how good Hanwa is, but I want to say Gen.G is gonna make it. But yeah, that one could be really close. Or Gen.G could throw. You never know. And then KT versus CFO, another one I honestly don't know because CFO is looking really good and they're looking pretty strong. But at the same time, I mean, they made history getting to quarterfinals, right? I'm pretty sure, unless I'm mistaken. For sure for their organization, but I want to say for their region too. I feel like this is the farthest their region's made it, but I'm not 100% on that. Either way, they've been really impressive, and I mean I do like them. Their name is pretty cool, right? Flying Oysters. But anyways, KT versus CFO. I don't know. I feel like KT's gonna make it. And they did go 3-0 in the group stage. To be fair. Also, I mean, this it all depends on what picks they got, the draws and things. But still, I feel like that's a pretty fair assumption that KT will make it through over CFO. But CFO could definitely surprise, and I'd be completely okay with that. I have no allegiance to KT or anything. So yeah. And then what would be crazy if KT went through to finals against Gen.G. Gen.G throws again, and it would be the telecom wars, right? T1 versus SK or KT. Used to be SKT T1, right? Anyways, yeah, I don't know. KT could take it if Gen.G just don't show up, but I think it's a safe assumption to say that Gen.G is the favorite and the most likely to go through. And then Gen.G versus T1, I don't know. I think Gen.G, I want to say Gen.G is going to make it, okay? But T1, you know, it's hard to bet against them. They're really good, but at the same time, sometimes they aren't. There's definitely been years before. I mean, before they've been on this streak or whatever of 2 years. Was it 2 or 3 years in a row that they won? I think it's 2. Before this streak of like a couple of years in a row that they won, they were in finals and lost. So it's really hard to say. I think for a couple of times in a row they're in finals and lost, right? If I'm not mistaken. So yeah, anyways, I don't know. T1 could definitely take it, but I want to say Gen.G's going to win, and that'll be their first Worlds, Chovy's first Worlds, which would be cool. And I mean, that's a pretty cool story, right? I mean, I don't know if Gen.G has won everything. Actually, let me check that real quick. You know what? Let's go ahead and let me check it. So that locks in that stuff, so that I don't have to worry about that too much. Also, slightly separately, can I look at Crystal Ball before I go and check that out real fast? These are locked, but they're not over. Yeah, because Worlds isn't over. Okay, cool. That's fine. What I do want, actually, rewards and leaders. We have a leaderboard here. No, it doesn't. Okay, weird. All right, anyways, what I want to check is events and standings. Yeah, let's do split 1 for LCK. Who won this? All right, Hanwa. So they won't have Golden Road, that's for sure. But let's see. First stand, Hanwa won. Right, that's right. Oh man, I forgot Carmine was there. That's crazy. Yeah, so Hanwa won those, and then split 2 was T1. So yeah, I guess, I mean, Gen.G didn't at all, but Gen.G did beat T1 at MSI, so there you go. And then split 3 again. I think, wait, what am I looking at? Dplus. Oh, this is the play-ins, okay. Playoffs, there we go. Yep, so Gen.G beat KT. And then Worlds, wait, did T1 go versus KT before? Hanwa went versus KT. Gen.G beat T1. but that one was pretty close. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just hard to say, honestly. It's pretty hard to say. But I think that's pretty fair to say, that I think is that's what's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, FlyQuest, we're really close, unfortunately. Oh, that's really cool. That kind of like shows you where they went if you scroll over them. But yeah, let's see, KT, who did they go against? They went against, let me scroll over real quick. Let's see, okay, hold on, let me do it this way. There we go. Yeah, so KT went against Koi, makes sense. They beat him. Team Secret Whales, makes sense. They beat them, and then they took out Top, which is arguably not one of the better teams that in quarterfinals. But we'll see. Maybe they are. So they did go 3-0 through, but at the same time, that's not the hardest set of opponents to go against, right? Anyone's Legend beat Hanwa. They beat Gen.G, which is actually pretty big. And then they beat Flying Oyster, but also a close series, right? Or at least in game score. I don't remember the exact series, how close it was, but yeah. So anyways, that's what I'm gonna say here. Hanwa, how did Hanwa go? They lost to Anyone's Legend. They beat PSG. That makes sense. 100 Thieves they beat, which makes sense, and then they went against Flying Oysters. Also not the hardest opponents to go against, honestly. But yeah, they made it through. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, and then G2, they lost against Top. They won against Koi, makes sense. They won against BLG, kind of an upset, but at the same time, BLG not looking great. So hard to say. And then they beat FlyQuest, also not looking great. So I don't know. I mean, G2 could be good, but it's really hard to say right now. It's kind of up and down there. And then Gen.G beat PSG. They lost to Anyone's Legend, but then they beat T1. They beat Top, and I think that was it, right? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, yep, that's it. So I don't know. I mean, I want to say they're good, but it's just hard. I don't know. I mean, they're one of the more convincing ones, but they lost to Anyone's Legend. But at the same time, that could mean Anyone's Legend is really good. So it's just hard to say. Flying Oysters beat Fnatic, makes sense. Beat T1, which is a big upset. They lost to Anyone's Legend, but it was close. And then they lost to Hanwa. I do remember those games a little bit, though. Those games were really, really close, even though it says 2-0 for Hanwa. And then Flying Oysters, obviously 2-0. FlyQuest, feels bad, man. Top Esports got G2, 100 Thieves, lost to KT 0-2, lost to Gen.G 0-2, and then took out BLG just barely. Literally just barely. So yeah, it's just hard to say, in my opinion, whether they're good or not. And then T1, we got beat FlyQuest. They lost to Flying Oyster, kind of surprising. Lost to Gen.G, not that surprising. And then 2-0 100 Thieves makes sense. And then 2-0 Movie Star Koi, which also makes sense. So I don't know. It's just hard to say, honestly. But yeah, it feels bad for FlyQuest. It really sucks. Hopefully they can get better from here, but it's just hard to say. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it. Oh, there we go. My mouse is back. That's good. All right, anyways, thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it, as always. And that is going to be my pickems for the knockout stage. Where are we at? We're not super high, but not super low. And I am globally ranked 237,180. Out of how many, though? There's 600,000 players that are below me, at least. So but I'm in the second bracket, yeah, not the top 5,000, that's for sure. That's for darn sure. A lot of my stuff was mistakes, but at the same time, I got mostly correct, But at the same, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Looks like we've got quite a few people that are actually perfect so far, which is really cool. Hopefully they can get those ultimate skins, which we shall see, though. But yeah, thank you all for watching once more, sorry. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, peace.